Nicole. Hi there. I'm here finally to do your reading for you. Thank you again so much for your patience. I won't ramble on too much here. I want to go ahead and get started with these messages. I hope you're doing well. Like I said, if you ever need to vent or want to talk about stuff, you know where to find me. Let's see what messages we can get for you today and go from there. I'm in the middle of a move right now, so my house and my life are very chaotic and messy, so please forgive me on that front. Any weird or random noises you hear in the background, probably just one of my pets. I have 2 dogs and a cat, and they're always running around doing some sort of weird stuff, so fair warning on that. I'm using the Wild Unknown deck for your reading today. The rest of my cards are all packed away. I kept out my favorite deck here because I knew I was going to be reading for you. We'll just get these cards shuffled and start pulling. Thank you for the energy update today. I knew it had been a while since you bought this reading, and like I said again, thank you so much for your patience. We got a card here already, so we'll go ahead and start pulling. Oh, I have another oracle deck that I got recently in Connecticut that I wanted to use for some messages as well for you today, so I'll grab that out in just a second. Spiritually grateful, what messages do you have for Nicole today in regards to her life and her love life and just her general energy right now? Their general energy right now, sorry about that. Ooh, okay, that's way too many cards to take. I'll take this one. All right, we got a good start here. Got 7 cards out, and so we'll just start breaking them down as they came out here. All right, first I have the 6 of Wands for you here. Oh, the 7 of Wands, sorry about that. So the 7 of Wands talks to me a little bit about this kind of confined feeling, this sort of brainchild kind of feeling. This card sort of represents to me like this light bulb moment where you're having a lot of like breakthroughs as far as internal thoughts and internal dialogue goes, but these kind of swords on the outside, or wands on the outside, meant to say wands, sorry, this is a wands card. These wands on the outside to me definitely represent walls or different obstacles that are coming up. So all the things that you're thinking of, one moment, sorry. Before I got too far into that, into this whole experience, I wanted to grab the oracle deck that I'm going to be using for you as well. Just some extra messages. Okay, so I do see, you have a lot of ideas or kind of like brain children going on, things that you're thinking about, internal dialogue that you're having with yourself or even with others. But kind of this like confinement or these walls where it maybe feels like, even just in you telling me that, you're usually pretty to yourself, so it feels a little bit strange to come out with things and open up about things. That's kind of what I'm seeing in this message. It's very much like a lot of internal dialogue and internal ideas and internal stuff going on, but these walls around you that are kind of keeping you from expressing that, or keeping you from fully coming to light with that, or coming out with that sort of internal stuff. Next I have the 5 of Swords here. So I definitely see some battles that are being fought within yourself. It's kind of this like mirroring energy, this two-sided energy. So within your relationship, or even just within your own personal realm of being, your internal family, as well as maybe your external, like, tangible family, there could be some kind of conflict going on in a sense of wanting change or striving for change that doesn't feel like is coming to fruition. It doesn't feel like is being made. And it could kind of be these old cycles or old patterns or old battles that you're continuing to fight. Maybe a lot of it has to do with like your internal demons that are kind of coming out into reality and playing out in real time. It could be things that you're dealing with within yourself that you have yet to kind of work out, that are playing out in your relationships or playing out in your day-to-day. So we'll kind of come back to that, but moving right along with what messages we have here. I've got the Mother of Cups. So this could represent you or someone in your sphere that is sort of just working on and becoming this sort of emotional mother. And this sort of, the mother, archetype is very representative of a caretaker, a nurturer, someone who you can rely on, someone who, is always there for you and is your caretaker. And so maybe you're taking on that role, but also when it comes to cups, those are all about emotion. So maybe it's just you kind of having a lot of emotion within you that you feel like you're giving to others a lot, or even, this could also represent filling up your own cup so that you can have energy and emotional availability to give to others. And so this really could be your need for a caretaker or someone who is that nurturer for you, or this is your own personal role in that, where you are such a nurturing person and such a natural caretaker, and so you're giving out a lot of that energy. But I'm also seeing that there's a lot of that energy that you would like to and need to receive back. 1 second here, I'm going to take a drink. Okay, I hope some of that is resonating so far. We're going to move on now to the fourth card we have, which is the Sun card. And this Sun card is sort of just how it looks, or sort of that cliche of like a light at the end of the tunnel. So it could be there are definitely big strides that you're making, or big steps that you are taking and working towards, and maybe not out in real time and in real life yet, but in your head. And those internal dialogues and those internal steps that you are taking, or those internal battles that you are fighting, like we had here in the beginning, I see that stuff sort of having good results. So all the things that you're thinking over, all the ideas that you're having, even if it feels like this kind of never-ending cycle and these patterns repeating, I feel like there is good that's going to come of these choices that you're thinking on, or these internal conversations that you're hoping to bring out into real time, or these kind of ideas and these wishes that you hold within yourself that you are hoping to boom, bam, bring to the light, make happen. The Sun card is that affirmation, which is sort of like, the things that in your head you are working towards, and the things that you are working on manifesting, those things have potential, and those things deserve to be recognized, and those things deserve to be observed, as well as brought to light, as well as kind of holding faith in the fact that you, at the end of the day, know what's right for you. And it might not always feel like that, as things are panning out and as things are playing out, because there are so many factors in our lives that we don't get to control. But it's not about having control. It's very much so about trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition, trusting that light inside of you to guide you and to get you towards these brighter times and these better times. And no matter how kind of broken down in faith we are feeling, we have to kind of hold that hope if we want things to get better, if we want to move forward. And so this Sun card to me is very much so just representing making positive movements forward, making small steps forward that have big results, by way of making you happier, or making you more hopeful, or making you more aware of and in tune with your own internal light, and how you kind of give that to other people with this nurturing energy, and how you kind of have all of this emotion and this love and this care and this nurturing inside of you, and how you kind of let that shine out and give that to those around you. So next I have the Mother of Pentacles. So this really could just be, working on your finances, working your ass off to, make things happen and to make those financial strides forward and to make those steps forward. So I really see this being kind of like your money card, your business card. You said that you did just return to the office with work, and so I know that's got to be a big change. But there could be things otherwise happening with work where you are, learning to manage your coins better, learning to better utilize money, or even just bettering your relationship with money. I know, kind of living in this world of late stage capitalism, it can kind of be a little detrimental feeling at times, but I kind of see you developing this really good relationship with money, or even, starting savings accounts, for example. It could be that maybe you need to, work on saving a little more. It could be that you have been working on saving more. And I also know, like, kind of when I mentioned about the late stage capitalism stuff, I don't know where you stand with that, but I feel like it's super hard to save money and super hard to be, like, good at managing money in a world where it seems like the working class, all of our money all the time is going to surviving. And there's not much left over to save. There's not much left over to spare. So it could kind of just be you mulling over different ideas in your head about how you can save money, or how you can be more financially sound and stable moving forward, kind of building that future for the next generation. And so really this card is just kind of based around work, and how when it comes to work, you are very stable and very focused and very, financially forward at this time, making movements towards that or in that right now. So I have the Three of Cups here, which, kind of like I mentioned earlier with the Mother of Cups, cups are all about emotions. And when I have a Three of Cups here, I see this kind of like, I don't want to say imbalance, but it's definitely like 3 is a sacred number, but it's not an even number. So it's very much like there are some things missing emotionally, maybe, in your life. And so it could feel like in your partnership, you're not quite connecting in the way that you'd like to, or there are things that it feels like are left being unsaid, or I'm kind of just seeing a little bit of a lack in your emotional fulfillment. And so it could be that maybe there is much more that you would like to share, or that you need to share, but I am seeing that you have a lot of emotion within you that looks like is kind of pent up at this time. And maybe this is just a message that you need to find a better means or more ways of expressing yourself. And it's not to say, that you're not good at expressing yourself, but it could just be maybe you need more outlets. And maybe this imbalance is because, we're all kind of spending so much of our time working and trying to get by and taking care of daily responsibilities that sometimes it feels like we don't have the time to put effort towards things that bring us joy, things that bring us that light, things that allow us to, express ourselves emotionally. And so this Three of Cups really could just be representing all the emotion that you have pent up kind of inside of you, and the different ways in which you need to look at expressing that, whether it be just expressing your ideas, expressing your feelings, finding a creative outlet. That's kind of the message I'm getting from this card here. Next I have the Nine of Wands here. Or I think it's called Sticks in this deck, but either way, it's the 9. And so the Wands are kind of all about your thoughts and your... Sorry, I heard something outside. I live in kind of a bad neighborhood, so I get sketched out. Anyways, moving on from that. 9 of Wands here, I kind of see, again, going kind of back to your internal dialogue and sort of your ideas and your thoughts and your sort of inner world, and your inner workings, it feels like you're making a lot of steps in that sense. And so it may not be tangible or things that you're moving forward with at this time, but it's definitely progress within yourself that you're making. And this card was right under the Sun card in the spread that I just pulled. So I think as these are working together, it kind of, you do see that progression, you know, where it's like you're moving up this ladder, this staircase, you're making strides, you're coming up with ideas and different things in your head and your thoughts and in that sort of inner world, like I said, that are going to lead to really big breakthroughs. And so if you continue to trust your instincts, trust those things that you're thinking about, trust your feelings, you know, trust that inner sense that you have, I think that pulling those things out, expressing those things, bringing those things to the surface is going to have so much gain that it's going to bring you to that sun moment that we were talking about, that sort of light at the end of the tunnel, that sort of big explosion of goodness that we want to get to. You know, and after all these kind of walls that you had built up around your thoughts and your ideas and your internal dialogue and inner self previously, I see this progression happening where those things are sort of leading you upwards, and those things are sort of that internal dialogue that you have going on, you know, where you're like, maybe even, for example, just randomly thought of this and wanted to share it. For example, like when you're thinking about how you would talk to your partner or, you know, your boss or someone you're having some sort of, not misunderstanding, but just trying to get a message across to. You have a lot internally that you would like to say that maybe it feels kind of hard for you to express, but you have to trust that what you're thinking and what you're feeling is valid and is right, and kind of open yourself up to expressing that stuff more. Because I feel like a lot of times people can't read our minds. That's actually a lot of times. People cannot read our minds. So the things that we're not saying and the things that we're not bringing to the surface, how are others supposed to know what to do with that? You know, if you don't share how you're feeling or how you want to be treated or what you want from a situation or from a person, it's hard for them to fulfill that. So that's kind of the message I'm getting to tell you there. I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you now. I don't know what this is that I'm doing, but I did it, so I can't take that back now. I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you now. And these are kind of just nice little, they're called spell castings, whatever that means. We're not casting any spells here, unless you want to, which then we can do that. But they're called spell castings, but they're kind of just little affirmations. And oracle decks are all about just kind of taking what you need, you know, so different from, this is my cat, her name's Shiva. She apparently wanted to be a part of this. Okay, excuse me, kitten. So yeah, just kind of different messages or things that you need, and I'll read from the book, and we'll kind of just see what comes up for you. I hope that that little first portion of the reading to get us started there resonated with you, and that you kind of felt like you could take something from that. Fertility, okay. I'm not going to take that in the normal sense, unless you're trying to have a kid. But fertility can mean a lot of things. It could be spirit guide. I'm kind of thinking it's more about those ideas and those thoughts that you're cultivating and culminating within yourself. I think there's going to be like a birth of something great that comes from just kind of like what you've been mulling over in your head. And so, especially if, like you were saying, you're a very kind of kept to yourself person, I feel like the stuff that you have been thinking over and thinking that you might want to share is all going to be stuff that is going to be very beneficial and fortuitous, if that's the real word I'm thinking of. You know, like good stuff for you to share. My dogs are running around doing wild stuff now. Boys, tone it down, please. I was at work for like 13 hours or something ridiculous today, so my dogs were locked up and now they're out and they are just going wild. Okay, fertility. Wow, I opened up right to that page. That was convenient. It's almost like I do this for a living. We've got magical guidance here. is the message, and it says, this marks a very fertile time for you. If you've been working on a new idea or project, you can be sure that a creative power is stirring within and ready to be birthed. You just need to nurture your brilliant ideas by keeping your expectations positive. Patience is a big challenge if you want to see results. Remain heartened and encouraged, for this is when all the magic is happening in the background. It may take a little time, but success awaits as you trust in divine timing. All good things come to those who wait, and remember that great things come from small beginnings. Okay, so that was actually kind of right as I was saying, you know? I just really think that there are some really great things going on within your sphere of like brain power and within your mind right now. And so keep cultivating those ideas, keep thinking about those things, and trust that you know what's best for you at the end of the day. Next I have Spirit Guide. Of course, I will not find this one quite as easily. If I knew how the alphabet went, I could get there faster. Okay, Spirit Guide. The magical guidance here is that you've never ever walked alone, for each step you take is guided by a helpful and protective watcher who resides in the spirit world. Spirit guides come in many forms, including deceased loved ones, animals, and mystical beings who bring to you many gifts and lessons and always have your best interest at heart. All you have to do is be willing to accept their presence and pay attention to their loving messages, which can come in many ways. You're being nudged to be meditative and to go into deep commune with your spiritual guardian at this time in order to harness spiritual connection and esoteric, I never know how to say that word, esoteric understanding. So some messages to go along with this are that messages could come to you through words and songs, conversations, and books, which makes perfect sense because you reached out for this reading because you obviously, wanted some extra guidance and some extra, like helping hands and kind of like, where things are at for you and on that spirit level. It's really easy to get wrapped up in just like the everyday of things and not really think about, the kind of deeper meanings behind and under everything that we kind of have going on all the time. So signs are all around you. When you see signs and you think like you're being woo-woo, no, you're not. The signs that you see and the patterns that you see in your day-to-day life, or like you were saying, those cycles that keep reoccurring, like those are themes in our lives that we need to focus on and that we need to think about. And I feel like you have really been thinking about those things. And so you're definitely on the right path there, because your whole reading to me has just been kind of about all of your thoughts and all of your internal self and being and dialogue kind of getting ready and preparing to bring that to the forefront and to work with that and to move with that and to flow with that. Trust your visions and leave out gifts of gratitude to seal your bond. So I do the tarot stuff and I love to read cards and I love to, offer people guidance in that sense. But I'm not much of like a spirit guide person. Like I do know that people are there with us, watching us and helping us all the time. I don't know a lot about spirit guides. So this really could be a big message for you to look more into spirit guides or to connect more with your personal spirit guides if that's something you haven't done yet. The whole leaving them gifts and all that, I've never tried that, but it could be really beneficial. So maybe just kind of do some Googling, do some searching, some research on spirit guides. And if that's something you feel drawn towards, or if that's something that you feel like you want to work with, then I would say now is a better time than any. I'm sorry, my dogs are so loud right now. I hope that's not too distracting. It's very distracting for me, so I can only imagine it probably is for you. The last oracle card we have here for you is protection. Let's just see here. Oh, Lord. The magical guidance here is it's time to retreat, simply and quietly, from a situation. Danger could be lurking in the shadows, and you're being urged to assess the situation carefully. The magical symbol of the pentagram lends you its sacred sight. This ancient talisman calls you to seek the truth as its as it encircles you within its energy of protection. I'm sorry, when I'm very tired, apparently I cannot read. It's vital that you're shielded from the harsh energy of others as your sensitivity increases, but also positivity. Because remember that sun card that we got pulled out for you, you really have to hold faith and keep the positive energy alive. And I think that goes for almost any situation. Like, if you want things to get better and you want to move forward, you gotta hold hope. So anyways, side message there. When you open yourself up to higher spiritual vibrations, protection is always key to give you the freedom to work your magic. So yeah, it's basically just saying you really need to protect your energy. If there are people coming at you sideways, like whether it's, you know, yourself, think about your brain and how your brain sometimes likes to tell you really bad things about life and about yourself, like anxiety 101. You know, you're thinking like, oh my God, I'm such an asshole, everyone's mad at me. No, we don't need to think about that. We need to protect ourselves from those thoughts. We need to protect ourselves from the mean things our brain is trying to tell us about ourselves, because that shit's not true. Sometimes it's true. Check yourself a little, you know. But protect yourself from that. Protect yourself from the mean things you want to say to yourself. Protect yourself from the mean and bad things that other people try to put on you, the blame that people try to put on you, the bullshit that people try to put on you. Definitely at this time, this is a good time to be protecting your energy, protecting your space, protecting your sphere in all senses. Place your trust in the pentagram. You need to be grounded. Surround yourself with positive energy of others by imagining a circle of white light around you. I've never done much of that myself either, as far as my woo-woo goes. But it really could be beneficial to do some protection spells, if you like spells. It's never a bad time to get into that. I know there are some special stones and some scents and some, you know, different kind of tools that we can use if we so choose to cast protection around us. And so that could also be something to really look into right now. But what I'm getting definitely is protect yourself from your own bad energies and protect yourself from others' bad energies, because it feels like there could be negative forces trying to bring you down or trying to kick you while you're down right now. And so I just want to be sure that you are safe from that. All right. I hope you got something from some of these messages. I'm going to draw a few final cards for you just to kind of see what advice I can give. And by me, I mean spirit. These cards. I feel kind of out of practice. It's been a while since I've done a personal reading for anyone with the hurricane I just went through, with moving houses, with my job that I'm working, which is very time consuming, very emotionally consuming. But of course, if you liked this reading, please do give me feedback. Please feel free to talk with me about anything I brought up in this reading. Ask questions if you would like. If you got something from this reading, please do feel free to recommend me to friends. Make a little Facebook post recommending me. That's always super helpful because I do want to continue offering these services to people. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you again for reaching out to me. It means a lot. And like I said, I'm so sorry it took me forever. I don't normally live through a hurricane. And so these last couple months have just been absolutely insanity. All rambling and excuses aside, so happy to be here doing this reading for you, Nicole. Let's see what last messages Spirit has for you here. Spirit's really grateful. Let's give Nicole some final advice for this reading. Ooh, okay. We got the Hermit card. All right, I got 2 more cards here. We'll take those. Oh, a few more actually. The Hierophant. Okay, So the final messages I got for you, one being the Hermit card, which this is very much like a going inward card. And so I feel like you're already kind of an expert at that. You're already kind of this like master of your internal self. And it seems like you really thrive in, you know, dealing with things internally and on your own. And I'm not going to say that that's good or bad. I think it has its drawbacks, and I think it has its place and its time. I do want to encourage you to start expressing yourself and to start having emotional outlets and creative outlets, but I also want you to know that all the internal work you're doing and all that time you spend kind of being quiet and being alone with your thoughts, that's all very positive and good for you. And it's an environment that you thrive in a hermit kind of setting, where you can process your emotions and process the things going on around you one-on-one with yourself. So that's an affirmation. And that's also the advice there, is just that keep doing what you're doing as far as your internal reflection and your introverted nature goes, because that's really a good message there. I have a 5 of Cups here, which is kind of more emotion card. So a lot of emotion. And this 5 is also not a balanced number, but also like 3 and 5 are very sturdy numbers. So I got the 3 of Cups for you earlier. I got the 5 of Cups for you now. And so it may be a little off balance emotionally, but it's also very sturdy. And so it could just be that you need to trust your emotions. You need to listen to your emotions. And you need to know that, I have the Moon card here, even though things are not always what they seem, or there might be like mysteries or illusions or unknown factors, when you're going inward and when you are listening to yourself, you can trust. You can trust the emotions you're feeling. You can trust those things that you have going on within yourself, and you can feel free to express them, because it's not crazy, it's not out of control to have standards and to want certain things and to say, look, if we're going to make this work, or if we are going to get better and move forward, because that's everyone's goal, right? We all want to progress in some way or another. We don't want to stand still and stay stagnant. No, we want to move forward with our relationships, with our connections, with ourselves. We want to grow. And so you need to be able to say to people and to yourself, look, if we're going to make this work, if we're going to make this happen, if we're going to grow and move forward, we need to make those changes. We need to be stable, we need to be sturdy, and we need to trust one another and trust ourselves. And so no matter what it is with the Moon card here that you can't understand or you can't see, because the Moon is very much so like an illusion. It's a Pisces card. It's very much so like these unknown kind of factors, or the kind of unseen or unspoken things that go on around us. Very much so like otherworldly, very much so like, how else can I describe it? Like mysterious, very mysterious. So factors unknown, unspoken, unseen. All of those things, I kind of got lost in what I was rambling about there, but it felt important. So I hope that it means something for you. All of those unknown factors, you still can trust the sturdy and solid internal emotions that you have about a situation. So if you are having all of these second guesses, all of these doubts about the people around you or about the people closest to you, particularly since you brought up a lot to me your relationship, your romantic, interpersonal, very close relationship, if you're having doubts about that or you're having thoughts about that, you need to trust that. And if there are things that you want to change and that you have standards about, you can't budge on that. You see this horse here? A horse to me is like a very solid, sturdy, powerful animal. And so think about yourself like as that horse and as that sort of freedom loving, but as well as like loyalty and comfort loving individual. But you have to have those standards still. And so if you are saying or thinking to yourself, because it sounds like you're doing a lot of internal work, a lot of, internal processing. If you're thinking to yourself like, there are certain things that I want out of this relationship or certain things that I want out of this life that I don't feel like I'm getting, feel confident enough to say that. Feel confident enough to want for more. Next I have the Hierophant, which This is a really powerful card to kind of end the reading out on, which I think I am going to kind of wrap this up. I think we got some really good messages for you there. Like I said, feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, concerns. I'm always here. We have the Hierophant, which is just someone that trusts themselves and someone that holds the key, as you can see. So all the things that you want for and that you're pushing for and that you feel like you deserve, that's all true. That's all something you should trust, and that's all valid. So just keep those things in mind. Feel free to watch this video, you know, as many times as you'd like to gather information and clues. I really hope you found this video helpful. And again, thank you so much for your support and for your patience. And that's all I have for you for right now. So thanks again. Bye.